Most people think RV life is all about the freedom, the nature, the sunsets, and it is that. But there's something different now that I've been living this way for 6 years. The contrast between living in the city, which is where I came from, to living full time in an RV is real. And I think it's something that people don't really talk about. How it felt at the beginning for me, leaving Seattle was a huge city, crazy city, and I was really used to it. But then when I decided to hit the road full time, the contrast between city and nature was so noticeable to me, and everything was new. It was exciting. I was nervous and scared. It was, I mean, such a huge lifestyle shift. But what happens after a while, you get settled into providing for yourself, finding water, providing electricity for yourself, repairing your rig. You're going to have to repair your rig a lot. In this case, I have a truck and a trailer, so I got to fix little things here and there. Sometimes it's big things, but a lot of times it's just little things. It's really always something that you're trying to fix. And then there's safety issues too, right? Like you're dealing with animals, there's like insects and things like that. Then there's weather. You got wind, you got snow, you got rain, then you got lightning, you got storms. Sometimes there'll be so much mud on the ground that you're not going to be able to drive your rig around. So you're going to have to be self sufficient. It's really about being self sufficient. And at first, it's you kind of don't know if you're going to be able to do it. But after a while, you just kind of get into the rhythm of things and it becomes like very normal. And so when I went into the city a couple days ago, and I do that every couple weeks to get supplies. Coming back into camp, I realized that there's a huge shift in the way I would notice the contrast between the city life and RV life. What I noticed was now when I come into camp and I come out to, in this case, I'm in the woods, I feel super comfortable, calm. I know about the water and the little repairs that I'm going to have to do. And none of that stuff really bothers me anymore. If there's a big thing, then that can be kind of a little bit overwhelming in a sense. But it's so peaceful, so relaxing that I've just really come to kind of settle into that. So now when I go into the city, what I notice is, it's the hustle and bustle, and you'll kind of run into people that maybe are a little bit angsty. There's definitely people in the city that you're like, I don't even want to make eye contact with that person. Out here, as a full-time RVer, you are going to run into people on occasion, and you're going to run into like campers or part-time RVers, and you're going to run into nomads like me, full-time nomads. And for the most part, all of those kinds of people out here in nature are easygoing, and if nothing else, they're in really good spirits because they're traveling. They kind of got away from it all. So that feels really good. Now there are like security issues. You want to be safe. You're out here alone, especially in my case, I'm completely alone. So you do want to be cognizant of that. What your life actually turns into, especially when you're leaving a big city or even just a town where you have like sticks and bricks, an apartment or house, something like that, you're going to be focused a lot more on simplicity and minimalizing things. You're going to pare down your clothes. For one thing, for me is water, conserving water, because I have a limited amount of water. But you can prioritize things that are really important to you. You're probably not going to be taking as many showers. You're not going to be as clean. Just watch some of my videos and you'll find out like how often I actually take a shower. Your priorities become different, if only because you have a smaller space to store things and to move around. You have a limited amount of cupboards. In this case, at least I have a truck, so I can carry tools in the truck and tools in the RV. You're going to want to carry enough equipment to get you through, and you're going to want to have backups for things that you find really, really important, those priorities, those things that you make priorities. And in a lot of cases, it's going to be like safety equipment and maintenance gear and tools and stuff like that. There's also a huge difference in the responsibilities that you're going to take on compared to living in an apartment or a house. There's all kinds of responsibilities in that case. And so most of those are really going to shift. Now, the kind of responsibilities that I have are, like I was saying, there's maintenance, getting supplies. The weather's going to kind of ruin some of your stuff. There's bugs, so you're going to deal with bugs like getting into your rig. And I don't just mean like mosquitoes and gnats and stuff like that, flying bugs, but you're going to deal with things like spiders, rodents, mice. And so these are all going to be problems that you're going to have to solve. And that's one of the biggest ways to think about your new responsibilities is you are going to be the main problem solver. And I've gotten really used to that. When a problem comes up, then I know, oh, it's on me. And if there's a mistake, it's most likely my fault. It's something that I did or neglected to do. So those responsibilities are it all becomes about you. It's no more like hiring somebody to come and take care of this and that. You're kind of out here in the middle of nowhere, especially when you're boondocking like I do almost full time. Those responsibilities are completely on you. So how does it feel ultimately after living this way for a long time? What I do is I'll just be hiking around and I'll reassess how I really feel about this lifestyle. Am am I really as happy as I feel like I am? Am I as comfortable? Do I feel as content as I think I do? Is that really a true feeling? And for me, it's been very, very consistent. I don't have any desire to go back to the sticks and bricks lifestyle. I've taken on a whole new set of responsibilities, but at the same time, I've gained so much freedom. I've had to give up a lot of comforts, like you're giving up like heat and cleanliness. The rig gets so dusty in here. The wind kicks up and dust will just come in through the windows. And you sometimes you have to keep the windows open because it's hot outside. And so you kind of have to kind of rearrange the things that are important to you. Well, it's going to be dusty. I'll clean it when I leave and go to a new campsite. Then I'll clean the rig. It's not for everybody. So you're going to want to be cautious. Like if you think you want to spend a long time in an RV, think twice. For example, my rig is 8 feet by 20 feet. That's what they call it. It's more like 8 by 18 feet. So your living quarters are really, really tiny. And if you're going to do that with somebody else, then it's going to be even smaller. In my case, I got my two dogs. It's interesting to me how after 6 years, remembering how scary and uneasy I felt about just trying to find places to stay compared to now how I feel so comfortable and so settled in. I can move from place to place, finding new campsites, staying at old campsites, and it's really, really comfortable. It feels like home. Where no matter where we are, if we're in the desert or out in some open field somewhere, doing this wild boondocking, it's like you kind of never know where you're going to be. But that feels like home to me now. I think that shift is something that a lot of people don't really talk about or consider. And I like the idea of reminding everybody to reassess like how you really feel as you travel. Because there can be things that seem really, really epic and really, really wonderful, but you might be neglecting certain things about this lifestyle. I think that's something that I'm going to talk about a little bit more on this channel because as the dogs and I continue to travel, we are still learning and still having adventures. Things are always happening that I was not expecting. We're always finding new places and new ways to experience nature, and that's a lot of fun. So I'll be talking more about that as the dogs and I continue to get out.